Today's video, I'm going to talk all about age-based funds for your 529 plan. What they are, how they work, things to be aware of when using them. We'll get into some fees and other strategies that you might want to consider in addition to or instead of age-based funds. These funds are just another way to say target date funds. You'll see target date funds in retirement plans and age-based funds in 529 or college savings plans. They're a great way to invest and take all of the guesswork out of what to actually get into because they just offer a way to diversify and change their diversification throughout time as you get closer and closer to actually needing the money. So what they are is a basket of investments that is filled with stocks and bonds. That split between stocks and bonds is what changes as you get closer and closer to needing the funds. And it does this all without you having to do anything, which is the beauty of having an age-based fund because it really takes the emotional side of investing off the table. It's so easy to get trapped in emotional investing, which is buying and selling based on what's going on in the markets and how we're feeling. Sometimes people will say, oh, I really feel like the market's gonna crash or it's gonna go down, so they'll change their allocation, and sometimes the reverse happens. Or if the market does go down, no one really knows when to get back in if they're basing their decisions on their feelings and what's going on in the market. It gets really, really difficult to invest that way. So I would really stay away from it. It's really great to have a plan going into investing. So it just eliminates that messiness that comes and that feeling of unease and uncertainty of what to even do and when to do it. So that's why age-based funds are really great. Now, how they work, there's a money manager that takes care of these investments. They start out with a certain allocation that's different for each graduation year. If you're really far from needing the money, say you happen to be somebody that's way ahead of the game and you started this right when your child is born, that's gonna be the most aggressive allocation because they don't need that money for 17, 18, 19 years or so. That means there's plenty of time to recover from losses in the market and just allow a lot of compounding growth along the way. So a portfolio like this will probably start with 90% in stocks and 10% in bonds. And then every year or 2 years, these funds are designed to change up their allocation and become more conservative. So the money managers will take that pie that's divided up and it'll slowly inch towards being 90% bonds and 10% stock in the closest year or while they're in college, because at that point, and as you're getting really close, you want to be careful with that money because say you're counting on that money next year and we take a big market crash, say 30 or 40%. If you had really well funded this account and you have 100 grand in there and the market drops 40%, you now only have $60,000. And even if you only have $10,000, if the market drops 40%, you now only have $6,000. So we don't want to be in a position where large market corrections and crashes can impact our ability to attend school, right? If you're counting on that money, you need that money. So as you get really close to needing the funds, so especially in high school, you want to make sure that your portfolio is not too aggressive. If on the other hand, this is a supplement to another strategy or another plan or maybe a scholarships or something else, then you could afford to take on more risk if you just are purely interested in your account growing as much as possible. But with that comes the risk of it shrinking as well, right? But over time, the market does go up more than it goes down. So it's just one of those things you have to be aware of if you do decide to veer away from the age-based funds, and we'll get into that more in just a minute. But first, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe to my channel because it really does support what I'm doing, which is trying to help educate others on their finances and investing. You might not have access to a quality financial professional, so you can turn to me. I am a certified financial planner here on YouTube. I would love to continue to be a resource for you. Anyway, some things to be aware of when you are using these age-based funds is one, the fees, because If you are in a higher cost fund, that really can erode a lot of your returns, or a good chunk of your returns that you obviously want to be going towards college, not just paying your financial advisor. So when you are working with a financial advisor, if you do decide to go with them, be aware that they're probably going to tack on a 1% or so fee in addition to the fund fees. So I highly suggest you go on your own when you are investing in a 529. Take a look at this video. I do walk you through 529, so I'm not going to get into too much more of that because this video is really about age-based funds specifically, so I want to be succinct with that. Another thing I want you to be aware of when using age-based funds is not to use multiple different age-based funds unless you're actually using this for different students in different accounts. Because if you get one that's intended for 10 years out and 15 years out and 5 years out, you're really over diversifying and making your portfolio much more conservative than it actually should be for when you need it. The fund itself is designed to offer you that diversification and the appropriate allocation for investing aggressively when you're far from needing the money and conservatively when you're close to needing the money. So let it do its thing if you are going to go into an age-based fund. And if not, a couple alternatives are you can just do an aggressive fund, a conservative fund, a moderate fund. But like I said earlier, just be aware that those could put your portfolio at more risk if you're really depending on the money from your account to go to college. Whereas an age-based fund, it really takes a lot of that risk off because that's what they're designed to do. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Hope you found this useful, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.